Into the big important part. What could work for getting girls interested and invested in STEM, in the subjects and in STEM related fields for work? First of all, it's what we mentioned before. We have to have female role models. We have to have girls being encouraged in class by their teachers, by their parents at home, by any other adults, authority figures in their life, and I would say even by their peers, boys and girls alike. You guys get interested in a subject, you want to work on it together. Practical applications of the sciences, technology, engineering, and math. Hands-on experience with it. Being able to go to places like around here, you have the Rochester Museum and Science Center, you have the Strong Museum of Play. That's perfect for engaging kids at a young age and then up until the vital 11.5 to 15-year range when it's really crucial to get girls interested before, they kind of jump ship when they get older. So practical applications, hands-on experiences, encouragement, role models, and also equal opportunities, letting them know that there will be equal treatment in the workplace of men and women. Because as we've seen, even with big places like Microsoft, we still have a ways to go with that. So girls are keenly aware of that and are wary as a result, as they should be. You have to protect your personal interests when choosing a field. So equal opportunities for not only treatment but actual employment, because so many of these fields, yes, they are overwhelmingly dominated by males. And as we've seen, yes, a broader, more diverse workforce is much better for a company to know its clientele and the people and to have better ideas and experiences to work with. And then just opportunities in general, depending on socioeconomic status, on race, possibly even on religion, and where you are in the world. That can determine what opportunities you have in life. And yes, there's those of us who start in, the lower ranks, so to speak, and can work our ways up, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen those videos explaining, yes, what it means for people, white males, straight white males, any people with money. It's like a race. These people are like a mile or two ahead of the rest of us. So we have to work to bridge the gap in that regard. And then also bridging the gap of, here's STEM, here's science subjects, here's what girls are interested in, And, never stereotype or generalize. I, as a teenage girl, I painted my nails purple, and, I still have some of that purple nail polish on my PlayStation 2, because I love playing video games. They can like tea parties, they can like animals, they can like wrestling, they can like designing, building things, any combination of things. And that should be encouraged. Girls should and can and should be able to be interested in any combination of things, because the broader expanse of experience and skills, the better. For teachers and parents and everyone, really, encourage boys and girls equally in their STEM-related classes and projects. For me, back in the early to mid-thousands, our tech classes in middle school and high school, it was like, there were a few computer classes, but half of them were just shop classes, so guess which sex that's supposed to be geared towards. And I like making things and designing things, but when you have like gruff middle-aged men who are just going to get all pissy about anything, I wouldn't want to work into that stuff. I don't want, high-maintenance men when this is just supposed to be an elective. So, that's another reason I prefer the art classes. And I don't know, for me I was thinking maybe reinforce the importance of having students assisting and encouraging their peers, which we should be teaching instead of like preschool and kindergarten, but these are those simple skills, like, treat people like you would want to be treated kind of things, that as people get older and develop into adults, they seem to forget these skills and these important lessons. So yeah, just reinforce that, girls and boys can support each other equally. What if they want to do it throughout their careers too? All of a sudden, oh yeah, your peers, you want to work with these groups because you know these kids, and you want to do these projects together with them and work in these courses. It doesn't have to be divided by sex. It absolutely doesn't have to gender, sex, anything. Prove that they are indeed peers. They are equal. I was looking also, and I've mentioned these in earlier parts of this vlog, but some examples of interactive sites or toys or projects that encourage STEM education. On YouTube, there is Minute Earth, and it's basically science taught through pictures. I believe I saw a post today where they were talking about plastics and, why are they so strong? And I think the picture was just like, trying to rip apart a grocery bag. Some are abnormally strong and some are super wimpy, it seems. But there's also, going back to more science, biology, I believe the first post I saw from them, first video, was about hyenas. I think it was hyenas, some four-legged animal. But, their hierarchy and how it changes and how this and this is affected. And it's just, short little, 5-10 minute videos and drawings, and it's simple, words explained simply through pictures, so it's engaging and it has a good flow to it, so you can keep your attention. But it's one of those simple things where it's like, oh, I didn't know about this, and this is things people found, studied in the field, and they can share through these mediums. Play games. Always encourage play. Learning is so much easier and more fun and seems more worthwhile if you're enjoying it. And I know it's shocking, but you can actually enjoy learning if it is through play. Because like I said, Legos, Connects, skills that can help with engineering, design, creative thinking, and problem solving. Minecraft, that's been a big one for a while now, if that's even still trending anymore. But yeah, that can help kids learn coding. That's kind of amazing. This super simplistic game of, intentionally designed to look overly simplistic with its blocks and design. Kids can actually learn basic coding, which is something we basically all need today for our jobs. What else? Oh, another thing, graphics tablets at the local libraries. I know Greece was promoting that they had some of those around. I wanted one for so long because we have the oldest, crappiest equipment here, and that's when we were using Illustrator and Adobe Suite and stuff like that. Yeah, I loved it when you're learning about how many frames it takes to do a minute of animation and all that. But actually having one of those graphics tablets so you can actually draw on it and then get the details in and smooth it out on the computer, that's so awesome that that's available, and basically for rent at the libraries. Like I said, I saw Greece has it. I'm sure a bunch of the other ones around the area do too. But that's encouraging design. It's technology, technological science kind of thing too. And that's the thing, because so much of this stuff starts overlapping. If you have skills in this area, it translates to this, and that's not something to be overlooked. It is important. Skills do translate. Another thing, if you watch The Big Bang Theory, Mayim Bialik, or for my generation also known as Blossom, from that she has a YouTube channel now. So she goes from, being a 90s teen fashionista to being an insightful mom, and in real life she is actually a neuroscientist, and she covers important topics, everything from, being a parent to divorce to obviously aspects of science, and I would say even sociology. And it's just really insightful, thoughtful things, but it's snort. It's short snippets that are engaging and entertaining to watch. So just things like this that can really build your interest and keep you engaged. And like I said before, and it's so important, don't define boys' toys and girls' toys, especially if it's by color or a specific, I don't want to say genre, but girls play with dolls, boys play with action figures, these kinds of distinctions when it's basically the same thing. If a girl is playing with a toy, then it is a girl's toy. Simple as that. And same with boys, let boys play with whatever. The more things they get exposed to, the better. They can figure out things they like, what they don't like, can be more creative. That works with problem solving, and it helps. When we're young and we're playing, it develops our mind. Every day we're finding out more things about, this is how this is affecting us later in life and in these aspects. And it's like, so the things we enjoyed actually have a beneficial effect on us. Who'd have thought? And then I was also saying before, Goldilocks, bridging the gap between playing princess and engineering. You can encourage, girls want to be princesses, to design and build their own castles. That's like the stuff I used to love to do with The Sims. Half the time I just love to go online and do the any mods people had made. So, you get $1 million the next day for your Sims, and then you get to build some elaborate house that has, super lag, so it's like one frame every 30 seconds. And then, you move on to the next project, because, I don't know, maybe I have ADD, but that was like the kind of stuff I like to do, that kind of design. But yeah, Goldilocks is engineering toys specifically geared towards girls. And I'll put those in the description, but it is, the woman who was designing it and thinking it up, she really did her research and found girls actually like to read and learn to do this and that. So all these little aspects get incorporated into how these toys work. And then again, it's a creative toy, so you can build it in all sorts of different ways. And another thing, kids are smart. Be genuine with them. If you are a science teacher, or tech, or engineering, or math, but again, trying to focus on science with the March Expo coming up, show kids your passion. Show them what sparked your interest. Give them an inside look into what got you intrigued by these topics, what you find interesting, what frustrates you about them. Because when you have an open, honest discussion with them, they will see, there is this big human element to it where it's people who are doing these things, and people like me too, again, reinforcing role models. So they will be more inclined to want to try them. Infuse the human element into lessons, tell stories, show how subjects affect individuals, same things I was saying before. How does technology, how does this discovery affect humanity? How is this person's life or quality of life changed from this product or invention? See what restrictions and limitations happen as a result of XYZ, even though this product or service is now on the line, because these people have these barriers that make them not accessible. I know I'm speaking in, vague generalizations, but it's so you can fill in the blank. And again, entice students with legitimate fun, not the boring educational toys and games. Kids are perceptive, they're fairly intuitive when it comes to knowing if such a product is going to be crappy. So get them stuff that is actually fun, that they'll want to learn more about on their own time. Because like I said, there's those games when, and I'm not talking about when you're super tiny and there's leapfrog stuff, because yeah, that's great, and it is stuff kids like to play with. I'm talking for me, it was when you're getting to be 10, 11, 12, 13, and it's These are the educational games or toys. The quality of them is, you can tell just by looking at it and reading the description, is about an eighth of what you usually get from your standard Mario or Zelda or whatever AAA game. And it's going to be slow and boring, and either it's stuff you already know or it's not anything pertinent to what you've been studying. And so, yeah, get a toy. Show, like I was saying with the physics teacher before, get like one of those well, not wind-up toys, but one of those like little toy cars. When you roll it back, it rolls the gears back so it shoots down the hallway. Show those toys and show them how, oh, this is, the physics equation that makes this work, and these are the mechanics that make it work, and have them have like a little lab where they do a race with that or something, I'm just spitballing, but that kind of thing, too. It doesn't just have to be, expensive tech video game or stuff. And it's interesting because we get so jaded with our everyday technology that we take it for granted. I mean, nowadays, yeah, we all have our smartphones, and we always use them, and everyone's looking down at them all the time. So even when we're together conversing or hanging out, yeah, everyone's kind of glued to the phone. But just think of it from a student's point of view. How interesting could it be to have this world open up to you that unveils, how this technology works, and let the students kind of get their hands dirty, teach them how to create, manipulate, and control their own apps and games, have them make their own websites, have them try to design an app for a phone, show them how they could design their own Angry Birds level, that kind of thing. And then again, just what I was saying before, the standard things girls need, because we're, impressively pragmatic creatures. We need to be shown there are career opportunities for us, not just for the males, and they need opportunities. Young women need opportunities to experience practical applications of STEM while they're still in school, especially between the ages of 11 and 15. They also need to be shown that technology and coding and things of that nature are not isolating fields where you work long hours by yourself, in the classic dark basement when you're socially awkward and don't know how to relate to people. No, it's not like that. It is about, it is a means of communicating nowadays. It is how we connect in so many ways. It's not something where there's little social interaction and few rewards for doing the job. It is, the future. So you want them to try to show that it is engaging work. It isn't just the boring, isolating, miserable drudgery that is only for, socially awkward nerds. And also, more stats here, showing that there are steps being taken to alleviate the gender gap in these STEM fields. And there are signs that young women are already taking steps to ensure better futures for themselves. In 2016, Dartmouth had more female than male engineers graduate. Though I was also wondering, again, what is the percentage of males versus females earning their bachelor's, master's, and PhDs? How is this reflective of the times? Are there more jobs in construction or factory work than in the, more esteemed fields of, teaching or in some of the sciences? You would hope not, but, how many teachers do you see who have to work 2 or 3 jobs? It's sick. So, yeah, that was just one thing. There are schools such as Northeastern, Tufts, and Sweetbriar working to close the STEM gap as well. Let's see here. There is a quote. Lynn McMahon, if I'm saying her last name right, I'm not sure, managing director and New York Metro area lead at Accenture, tells Good Call that even before kids learn how to read and write, they have the ability to grasp programming concepts. However, she says there are 3 primary factors that determine whether girls in junior high school will find computing fun. Reinforcing that computing is for girls and is cool. Providing exposure and experience computing, and having inspiring teachers. Sometimes computing isn't taught in high school, and even if it is, computing is often perceived as unenjoyable and isolating because girls' friends aren't also studying the subject. So education is key to keeping girls interested in STEM, is what basically everything keeps reiterating, reinforcing with everything I've read and studied. Back from that article I was just reading, we need to develop more tailored programs that appeal to girls' interests and take a more targeted and sequenced approach to encourage girls to pursue CS, I believe it's computer science, related learning at each stage of their education. Giving girls projects that help solve issues they care about or topics they just find fun will make a big difference. And that's, again, what I've just been trying to say over and over. That's the big takeaway from all of this. Engage them with things that matter to them. I mean, anyone who's had to take any sort of communications, public relations, public speaking class, things you have to address to the audience to really grab their attention and persuade them effectively is answer, why should I care? What's in it for me? And I mean, that's self-interest to survival, so of course that's what each individual would be thinking. But yeah, these are the things that teachers, any educators, parents, people in the community should be thinking about. How do we get girls interested? What do individual girls like? Let's not generalize. Let's not put stereotypes on. Not everyone wants to be a princess. Not everyone wants to do tea parties. Not everyone wants to be a gymnast. That's the great thing. There's so much variety and diversity out there that we shouldn't limit girls to saying girls like this, boys like this, and vice versa. Encourage creativity and experimenting with this kind of stuff. Parent involvement and assistance with homework problem solving is also a factor for success, because kids may give up and come to dislike a subject when it seems too hard. So we need to teach persistence, delayed gratification, and problem-solving techniques beyond what teachers can provide, especially in public schools when you have anywhere from 20 to 50 kids per one teacher, or one teacher and an aide. Teachers can only do so much. They don't have enough. I mean, it's like this in a lot of areas today in industries, especially around here. Overcrowding and understaffing. So yeah, teachers are important too. Other family members, other friends, people in the community. We have to kind of supplement what teachers are able to bring to the table, because it's not fair at all to leave that all on the teacher's plate. But yeah, teach kids, even if it's a subject you're not completely familiar with, you can teach them proper problem-solving methods, how to go about searching for answers, or who to seek help from, or alternative methods of problem-solving that their teacher might not have figured out. Because, and if it's your kids, they might, think along the same lines that you do, so how you might solve something might be, just be that aha moment they need when they didn't grasp a subject, where it's like, oh, so you can use this method to come to this conclusion too. But it's just, being engaged in that way. Because education is not a one-size-fits-all experience. That's another point I really want to drive home here. Education is not a one-size-fits-all experience. Depending on what's going on in your life, depending on what your class load is, depending on, what's going on in your personal life, so many factors. There are certain times in our lives when it's easier to learn certain skills and certain subjects, and more difficult in other times. So, yeah, that shouldn't deter you, like, oh, I had a bad time in this experience with this teacher. It's like, oh yeah, but X, Y, and Z were happening in my life, and those were kind of more pressing issues, so I had to address that. So it's just another issue of, don't make people think, oh, I hate this subject or I'm bad at it. No, you just had a bad experience. So just kind of, reinforcing resiliency in kids too. Because there were so many times I hated math, and I science and history, But, I could appreciate it in certain aspects and within certain parameters when it felt more applicable to my life. So it just, again, there's never a one-size-fits-all solution for kids, for people of any age, really. Just looking through the rest of my notes here. Yeah, I'm just reiterating. There is no one-size-fits-all for education. Everyone knows different things, especially as we get older and aren't all in the same classroom every day. And it does, even if someone, has a high IQ, is a high achiever, is quite intelligent and perceptive, and, there are multiple intelligences, too, of all sorts of different skill sets. A person's sex and their status and socioeconomics can dictate our opportunities in education and work. How many people around here are working retail and food service who have bachelor's and master's degrees? A lot. So, and that's the thing, our parents wanted us to go to college. They, like all parents before and all parents after, they want their kids to have a better life and better opportunities than they had. So going into STEM is also the right step for that. And as much, again, overlap with science, technology, engineering, and math as you can get, the better. It's like, so you don't only know how to do basic graphic design, but you can do some coding too, and then science, social sciences, or hard sciences, and knowing, basic mathematical equations. You never know what combination of skills and experiences can come in handy, so the more you have, the better. As all my papers go. There we go. Yeah, practical examples. And just, again, early exposure to these subjects. From, I'm not even sure which article this is from at this point, but saying, young girls need to see that tech is relevant for them, and it's fun, and not that difficult, and it's really creative. When you have that early on in your life, you find it normal. That helps girls because if they experience it early on and everyone is treated the same, it's just like learning a language, and there's less chance that at a later age they suddenly start feeling, it's not for me. They get a chance to start liking it before bias kicks in. And that's like that, fact we've all heard that, oh, you can actually, if you learn a foreign language, a second or third, or however many languages, before the age of 8, you can actually be so well versed in it that you don't really speak with an accent. Whereas, when we're starting to learn it in middle school, when, yes, we will have our American accent if we're speaking Spanish or French. So that's that, and I'll just wrap up in a minute here.